Today, we'll recap UFC 320 from a mental performance and mindset perspective. We'll cover the one weird mental trick Yuri Prochazka uses to gain energy while everyone else burns out and gets fatigued, how there's an interesting connection between the main lesson that Magomed Ankalaev just learned and the one that Corey Sandhagen learned from UFC 250, and the one old Spartan ritual that Alex Pereira uses to perform like an elite warrior. And no, it's not the arrow pose. So my name is Itamar Marani. I'm ex-Israeli Special Operations, a former undercover agent, a second-degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and mindset and performance coach to hundreds of 6- to 9-figure entrepreneurs, pro athletes, and top 10 ranked poker players. And if you appreciate me making this type of content completely free, then let me know by hitting the like button below, and I'll make more of it. With that said, let's jump in and break this down. 3, 2, 1, Shama. Okay, so let's break down the first fight we're going to mention between Yuri Prochazka and Khalil Rountree. And why is Yuri able to actually have such outstanding cardio, and what does that have to do with external goals versus internal desires? So most fighters, when they go into a fight, they really want to win the fight. And they have this desire, have this expectation that I want to win. So in order to do that, things need to go my way. And what happens is when naturally in a fight, things don't go their way, all of a sudden, it gets exhausting because they're like, oh man, this isn't working out, and it frustrates them. Now, where Yuri is unique with his whole, Bushido mindset and his warrior ethics is that he's actually not just trying to win the fight. He wants to do that. But on a deeper level, he wants to challenge himself as a warrior, and he wants to test his spirit. So whenever he actually gets hit or he gets behind in the fight, he doesn't get distraught by it. He doesn't get frustrated. He doesn't tax his energy because he's thinking, oh no, this isn't going to plan. He actually embraces it. And all of a sudden, he's like, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to test myself here. It's similar to what the Spartans called seeking out a beautiful death, to find an adversary that can truly challenge you. And because he's able to have that kind of mindset where he's not just looking to win, and he's not looking for things to go his way, but he's looking to truly challenge himself and bring the best version of himself out as he can, when things go against him, it doesn't exhaust him. And it also confuses a lot of his opponents because they feel like they have momentum, but he's actually enjoying it and he's smiling it because this is what he truly wants inside. And it's this weird paradox of when you just want the prize, you'll actually miss the target because you're so focused on the prize. But when you actually just want to become a great archer, for example, or a great warrior, in Yuri's case, the outcome of actually winning the fight comes about. And it's a very powerful mindset to have, whether in business or in fighting, to recognize that the goal is just a goal. But deep down, you have to want it for what it will make of you. And if you have that perspective, it can take you a really long way. The second fight, I want to talk about Corey Sandhagen and Merab Dvalishvili. So first off, both of them fought a phenomenal fight. And Corey, even though he lost, I think he did everything he could have to achieve as much success as he did. So when we talk about mindset and performance, it's basically two factors to it. One is your actual capability, what you're able to do, and two, how much of that you access during fight night or in the key moment. Now, Corey also did a great job of preparing himself to be able, during fight night, to be at his very best. The prep that he did with Travis Whitman, whether it's the cardio or the mental, it paid off. And here's what I mean by that. So what happened, and I think DC even said this in the commentary, is that it's sometimes frustrating when you just have a guy like that being unrelentless, like Merab. And Corey had this very unique situation where he did not get emotionally frustrated and at the same time, he didn't get complacent. Now, that's the very unique thing. A lot of times people only, have the fight in them when they get really emotionally frustrated. But the reality is that that emotional frustration also drains their energy. And Corey was able to have this really great balance of not getting emotionally frustrated by getting taken down, consistently having Merab on him, but at the same time also having the resilience to not accept that. And I think this is a lesson I see a lot in the business world, where people feel like unless they have this, unconscious script in their head, that unless I feel this level of frustration, then I can't do something about it, whether it's with other people or about the business. And Corey just showcased a phenomenal mindset of someone saying, I do not accept this situation, and I'm not going to let it emotionally tax me. I'm not going to get frustrated by it. And I think for, again, like Corey, he wasn't able to win the fight, but as far as a mindset and mental performance standpoint, he gets a 10 out of 10. Now, how does Corey lead into Magomed Ankalaev, and what do they have in common? So in UFC 250, Corey Sandhagen lost to Aljamain Sterling. It was a very quick fight, pretty much the same amount of time as Ankalaev got taken out by Pereira. And afterwards, Corey Sandhagen said, you know what, I was almost kind of taken aback by the intensity in which Aljo came into the cage with. I didn't anticipate that, and it kind of almost shut me down a little bit. And he learned that lesson, and now he doesn't have that reaction anymore. When someone comes at him intensely, he knows how to match him. And what you saw with Ankalaev is that he wasn't prepared for Pereira's intensity in that moment. It could have been that he came with thinking he's the champ, is just going to go like this again, or he could have been just surprised flat out because Pereira came out like a warrior. And basically it was a lesson that Corey learned early on, and he was able to improve because of it, and I'm sure that Magomed Ankalaev will be able to learn from this and improve as well. Now, the one way, if I was someone in his corner, that I would prepare him for the next fight is to do these kind of mental tricks with him in training. So to basically bring him into the training room and tell him, okay, we're just doing 5 rounds with some of the guys today, and make it as if it's a little bit calm, kind of play it like it's all relaxed, and then tell the training partner, listen, I want you to go after his throat as soon as the bell rings. Just be hyper aggressive, just so he can kind of get used to that energy. And also do the same thing, say, okay, in this round, the next guy, try to run away from him. Try to evade him as much as possible, frustrate him. And basically teach him these kind of mental things that he's going to have to go through. And after each of these kind of training rounds, we would debrief it and be like, hey, what happened now? You saw that guy came at you super intensely. What could you have done differently in order to match that? Or, hey, you saw this guy trying to just run away from you and evade you. How could you have not gotten frustrated by that, but played it technically? And we could build these kind of mental, let's call it, protocols in his head for different kinds of opponents and different kind of emotional interactions with them. And it could help him perform even better than he was currently. So that's how that relates. Now, what is the old ritual that Pereira has? It's not the arrow, it's not the other things, but it's actually shaving of the head. So the Spartans had this ancient ritual that before they would go off to combat, they would break a stick in half. And one they would take with them and one they would leave behind. It was basically their version of dog tags that we have now in the military. There was also an added symbolism to it. They would say that you break your stick in half, and this is basically breaking yourself in half. And there's 2 parts of you. There is a part that's tender, that knows love, knows care, knows compassion. The part of you that makes you a good citizen, makes you a good husband, makes you a good father. And then there's the baser part of you, the part that knows violence and that knows savagery. And this part you leave aside. And this part you take with you to war. And it was something that was a ceremony for them that would help them separate between who I am and what I'm about to do right now, which is going to be different. And Pereira, you can see, has a couple of these rituals. It's one is the shaving of the head, where once he's in shaven head mode, you can tell he doesn't have that laughter, he doesn't mess around as much, he means business. And for him, it's that ritual that allows him to separate who I am with my family, with my kids, with my team, to who I am right now that I'm going to hunt someone's head off. And he also has that with the face paint and the mask. He goes into his warrior spirit. And it's a very powerful lesson to learn that if sometimes you feel like you're struggling to switch on or even switch off during high moments of high impact, whether it's in business or in sports, having that kind of ritual can be a bit of a mental trigger. And if you can also add the meaning to it behind, for example, that it lets you let go of that part of you that is more compassionate, more nice, more friendly, and actually just bring this part of you out, it can go a really, really long way. So I hope you enjoyed that breakdown of UFC 320, what made some of these guys' mindset a 10 out of 10, where some other guys can improve. And if you like more of this content, please click the like button below so I know to make more of it. Aside from that, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Ciao.